Hi guys, I hope you're having an amazing day today. In this video, I'm going to be doing some love notes from your person. This is going to be a message cards only reading, and there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Ocean Jasper. Group 2 is the Rose Quartz. And group 3 is the Blue Opal. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to, I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Ocean Jasper. So let's see, what does your person want you to know right now from their higher self? Okay, the first one we have is without you, mornings are the worst. So it feels like this person may be doing a lot of soul searching at this particular point in time about how they've been treating you recently, ways in which they might have made you feel very undervalued, very underappreciated. Maybe you're in no contact with one another, or this is someone that has had a lot on their mind and they feel like they've taken it out on you emotionally, either being kind of cold or shut down, or this can be something where they've not exactly been kind and gentle with the words that they have spoken to you. And there's a sense of feeling that you've been very brave and very patient and kind of waiting for them to sort of move through some kind of cycle, some kind of funk that they're in. And there's a sense of feeling that like you deserve more than just, kind of the worst side. Like somebody who woke up on the wrong side of the bed is sort of what's coming to mind here. And so this is somebody that wants to redeem themselves in your eyes, wants to kind of work to sort of soften the tension between the two of you and show a level of appreciation that they feel has been lacking on their part up to this point in time. I also have, I fear rejection. So again, this is the energy of somebody that knows that they've been kind of hard to deal with at this point in time. If it's somebody you're still in contact with, there's a sense here that your patience may be running very thin. This person might have kind of pushed you away, or they've sort of retreated into their shell. They're closing you out instead of trusting in the connection and you to be very patient and understanding with whatever it is that they're going through. This person may be having some financial struggles at this particular point in time, and they're embarrassed to share that with you. And so it's almost like putting you on the outskirts of their reality while they kind of get things figured out. And they know that this is a huge risk and a huge gamble, that you'll just be very understanding when they sort of show back up in more of an open energy. So they're kind of struggling at this point in time. It feels like with a bit of pride and ego, like this could be an opportunity between the two of you for them to sort of confide or allude to certain pressures or stress that they're under, and to really give you the opportunity to, be there for them when times are not easy, when times are difficult, or they're having something going on emotionally that makes them kind of difficult to deal with. Instead, they've just sort of assumed that if you were to have more information, all the facts, if you were to like see them like this, and maybe this is somebody that's going through some kind of depression, some kind of seasonal depression at this point in time, or they might have gotten some bad news, or they just got a lot of pressure going on in their life, It's a sense of like, I don't think you like this version of me. This isn't the best version of me. I don't feel good. I don't feel optimistic about the future. It's hard for me to really show up with a smile on my face. It's somebody that it's taking all of their energy and effort to kind of just go through the motions of what they need to do in terms of like showing up for work in a certain capacity, or family obligations that they may have, other people that are going through stresses and or are stressors to this person, and they're having to kind of deal with that or navigate through that. And so there's a sense that they have a lot on their plate at this point. And again, they don't really feel like they can or should confide in you about those things. But there's a sense of like, when I'm back to myself, when I kind of get out of this funk, are you going to be somebody that is still able to kind of receive me, able to accept me? This may be sort of like a test of your connection at this point. If they pushed you away or kind of tucked away in their shell, there's a sense of, I wouldn't blame you for, closing me out. I wouldn't blame you for not wanting anything to do with me. It's like you're seeing an ugly side of this person at this point, or they feel that way anyway. They feel very ugly at this point within themselves, within their energy. They're very aware of kind of how they've taken that out on you. And there's a sense of sort of like, if we make it through this, if I'm able to kind of bounce back and we're able to push on from this point together, then it's a sense that it will enforce a lot of confidence within them that this relationship has true staying power. They also say, you were never afraid of my darkness. Yeah, so again, this is somebody who's in kind of, a rough spot right now. They're not really feeling good. Their energy level might be low. Again, like maybe going through some depression, some disappointments, stress and pressure to perform in a certain way at this particular point in time. And it's somebody that is feeling very uncomfortable within their present circumstances. And they know that you have been, very open with them. You've kind of gone with the flow of this situation up to this point. And so it's actually this person's faith in your connection that is being tested. It's not like you need to prove to them, hey, I'm here for you in good times and bad. It's like they know that very consciously. But this is almost like their inner critic, giving them a hard time. Like on top of them having a hard time in the real world, their inner critic, it feels like it's just being merciless with them. Like, here you go, you're going to sabotage this. This person's not going to want anything to do with you. You said that this was the connection you want. You've been through certain things with this individual and you've come out the other side together. And now this has happened. Now certain things have collapsed, or the mood is off, and it's like the aspect within, that inner critic within, is kind of telling this person like that this situation is just doomed to failure, or somebody like you isn't going to possibly, put up with this, isn't going to have empathy for this person, isn't going to, kind of be there even in silent solidarity, even if you don't know exactly what's going on. And this isn't the energy of somebody just being a doormat. There's a sense that they can almost feel that like your feelings are hurt or you're confused, and you're trying your best kind of not to leap to conclusions or, pass judgment on this situation, but they understand they've kind of put you between a rock and a hard place in terms of like they're giving you very little information about their true intentions at this point. And their actions are demonstrating something very closed off. And so there's a sense within that they're like, I wouldn't blame you for walking away. I wouldn't blame you for slamming the door in my face when I come back towards you and want to move beyond this kind of chaotic or difficult period. They also say you're the answer to my whole life. So again, this is somebody that really misses you. They regret a choice that they've made in this situation to kind of just tough it out on their own. Like, I'll figure this out on my own. I don't want to involve you with what's going on, or, their pride and ego won't allow them to kind of open up about certain stresses or fears that they have at this particular point in time. Maybe things that people that they care about are going through that's very overwhelming to them. And so there's a sense they've like shut down as far as this connection is concerned. And there's a lot of regret with that. There's really a sense of like, I should have pulled you in closer. You're the one person who might have been able to understand, or, your light is a very healing and very reassuring presence. And they can still, if you're in no contact, they can like still feel you at a distance. If your contacts become a little sparse with one another, it's like, I can still feel you. I can still feel you like sitting there in anticipation patience, sitting there and wondering, holding a lot of love or, hope for this connection. And I know I'm showing you very little that would make it reasonable or like a good idea for you to still be hopeful. And so there's a sense of like this person is kind of in agony within, sort of like, why did I create this obstacle between the two of us when there were plenty of other obstacles in my life already, or different challenges that this connection has faced? And now it's almost like they feel they've failed some kind of test by, putting a wall between the two of you that now it feels like will make it harder for them to kind of come back towards you, or that there's more sort of work involved when they do come back around, because it feels like this person doesn't intend to stay away. They don't intend to like continue to shut you out, but it's a sense of someone who might have almost like frozen up within. They became very overwhelmed by things and they shut down. And there's a sense of like, as I kind of melt that energy inside of myself, how do I move back towards you in a way that lets you know that this isn't like a new negative pattern that's emerging, or that this is something that if you choose to continue to progress forward with me, that this is sort of like what you will need to come to expect about myself, about the life that we can build together. They also say, I've tried telling you the truth so many times, but I just cannot for some reason. Yeah, so this is somebody that like, if they've shut you out, if they've gone kind of cold, if, they're not giving as much to this connection as they have before, there's something else going on here that is a legitimate reason that like, if you had all the information, you might be almost like driven to tears for this person. There might be something where they're kind of just hanging on by a thread, maybe financially, maybe emotionally. There's a sense that it's taking a lot of their energy and effort just to put on a brave face, just to make it through the day. And they wish that they had like grasped you and pulled you closer to them, at least given you some kind of hint or indicator, instead of just going silent, or, switching up their energy to like from hot and heavy to like, okay, it's cold, it's nothing. It's sort of like dropped off the radar. They're very aware of what that's done. And there's almost like this person may be really overthinking things, kind of like fearful or almost paranoid, like, oh my gosh, have I just ruined this? Have I just totally, like set us back so far with one another that there's no coming back from this? So again, their inner critic is just being real brutal with them at this particular point in time. They may feel like a failure in a lot of ways for whatever's going on or how they're showing up for this period in their life in general. And then on top of that is kind of like the actions that they've taken or not taken, where they've just kind of withdrawn from the situation. It's something that it's like, I wish that I could even just give you some little bit of reassurance that like, this isn't what you think. This isn't somebody that's like run off with a third party. This isn't somebody that, is just like ghosted you because, they just want another option or want to keep their options open. It feels like it's someone that legitimately has things going on at this point in time that is just like, I should have opened up. I should have included you in this. I should have let you in. I should have done this more cleanly rather than kind of just disappearing. And so they're very fearful that they don't know how they're going to turn this around, or, if it's something where you're always going to be kind of guarded with them moving forward. We also have, you are a diamond of immense strength and beauty. So this person is thinking about pressure that you have going on in your life, stress that you've dealt with, circumstances that were less than ideal that you may have shared with them the details of. Or they can just kind of like read that in your energy. It may be something that you're very secretive about, things you don't really talk about, things you might have sort of referenced casually or not at all, kind of like parts of your life, chapters of your life, experiences in the past that you don't want to talk about, or they're very painful to talk about, or they have some kind of idea generally of that. And there's a sense that they're thinking about sort of like where they're at right now in their reality with whatever they're going through. They don't feel like they're handling it as well as you did. They feel that it's like, compared to you, they're showing like a very sort of weak energy. So again, there's a sense of like, I wish that I had kind of like pulled you in closer. I wish that I had, leaned upon you or trusted you or, kind of like held your hand through this circumstance that I'm going through at this time, or maybe a series of things that are, kind of shifting or changing within their reality, or, for people around them, and kind of making them wonder sort of like, what's my place within the grand scheme of things? That is making them reflect on kind of like, I pushed you away when you're the person who I could have really been inspired by your strength, by how you've handled things, by some degree of like peace that you've been able to kind of cultivate inside of yourself, where they see you as someone who's able to really anchor yourself through storms. Like whatever life has thrown at you, you come out stronger, you come out more beautiful, you come out more resolved within yourself. And it's a sense of sort of like, that's the energy that they want to be in as well. That's the place they know they have to reach in order to be able to kind of resume their position with you, or within this connection, in a way that serves the two of you and honors like moving towards a new cycle with one another. We also have, when I lose myself and feel imbalanced, you keep me grounded. Yeah, so you are this person's anchor. You are this person's rock. You are their strength when they are weak. It feels like in alone time, kind of like, late at night, when whatever they're dealing with during the day, after work, after they're done, dealing with like family members, they may be having to like help a family member out, or, there could be things with like extended family that is very stressful, that's very touch and go, very scary at this particular point in time. And there's a sense that they kind of, at the end of the day, they're just very exhausted. They don't have much more energy than to just kind of, turn off the lights and lay in bed and just sort of let their mind wander, think about everything that they could have done different, everything that they should have done better. And their thoughts gravitate towards you like, well, what would you do in this situation? Like, you're the peace in the midst of all of this chaos for them. And it's helping them to see that whenever they come out the other side of this experience or the situation that they're in, it's like, I want to make this up to you. I want to work as a team. I want to build beyond this point. I don't want to have to like go through the ups and downs of my life alone. I don't want you to have to go through the ups and downs of your life alone. We are better together than apart. They also say, I've gained a lot of insight into the meaning of our connection, and I want to share with you where I see you in my future. Yeah, so this person is definitely wanting to reach out to you as soon as possible, as soon as they're able, as soon as certain things are resolved, or, their money situation's better, certain kind of like family crisis or family issues that they have going on, that those things wrap up. This person, the holiday season could be a very stressful time, a very sad time for them as well. This could be somebody that's estranged from their family, or there's just a lot of painful associations with like this time of year. And so this could be a sense of sort of like, other people are out there celebrating and I feel very lonely. Other people have, healthy dynamics or loving families, and that's not what I have. That's not the reality of the people, that I'm kind of like forced to be around, or that I've had to like remove my presence from. So there's a sense that this could even just be somebody who's kind of like shutting down and just sort of burying themselves in that loneliness. They've capsized into that feeling of like almost having a pity party, but it feels like somebody who's trying not to let that sorrow win, trying not to let that feeling of like, my life is not like other people's lives, or I didn't come from that loving and supportive family. I don't have people that care one way or another like what happens to me. And it becomes more apparent during the holiday season, or at this particular point in this person's life. It feels like they're in a very dark place, and so that's almost like the reflex is like, I don't want you to see this. I don't want you to see this side of me. I don't want to drag you down to my level. I don't want to bring you down into the dumps. And there's a sense that they, again, like feel that even if, everyone else is against them in this world, that you're somebody that's always had their back. You've always had their best intentions. You've always tried to bring a very honest energy into this connection. And there's a sense that like moving forward, when they're able to pull themselves out of this kind of dark place, or, this very kind of chaotic experience that they're having right now, there's a sense like, I want to build something with you and I want to strengthen our bond. I don't want to push you away. You're not the enemy here. And okay, yeah, and they say, I've been trying to navigate my way through the darkness. Thank you for showing me the way to your heart. So yeah, that's beautiful. You are this person's light in the darkness. You are their North Star. You are motivating this person silently at this point in time, just energetically speaking, to just hold on, to just ride this wave, to understand that it will pass, things will get better, or there will be an opportunity to build again in a better direction for them personally, or for the two of you, as a couple, as a unit. And so at this point in time, even though it may be very quiet in your connection, or kind of total silence, please understand that you are very meaningful to this person. You are a very bright and nurturing and good presence for them, and they rely on that more than they let you know. And this isn't somebody who just wants to take advantage of that. This is somebody that really wants to give back to that, really wants to show their appreciation to you, really wants to build on strengthening your bond when they're feeling better within themselves, when their energy's better, when they get their mind right, when they go through whatever this emotional turbulence is that they have. They want to redeem themselves in your eyes. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got B, O, A, Z, B, U, L, T, D, F, C, T, H, F, and I. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you'd like a personal reading, there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the rose quartz. So let's see, what does your person want you to know right now from their higher self? Okay, and we have, I'm finding a way to be comfortable in my own skin. So this feels to be the energy of somebody who is very excited about what the future holds in this connection, but they're trying not to get ahead of themselves. There's a sense of they don't want to rush. They like where things are at between the two of you. They're trying to pace themselves or contain some level of excitement and joy. This person may have big plans for after the first of the year. I'm hearing fresh start. So there may be something where they're wrapping up a cycle, or they want to ring in the new year in a big way for the two of you. Something where there could be a gesture of love or affection, or something that kind of expands the dynamic between the two of you, deepens the level of trust, something they like the pace that has been set so far, obstacles you've overcome together and individually. There's a sense of feeling very balanced in your presence, very stable within this connection, and not fearful of love is the way that's coming through. For the first time ever, they're not afraid of love. The idea of loving you, falling in love with you, falling more deeply in love with you. It's your presence, the experiences you've had with one another, the time and space that you've granted them. You've kind of respected their privacy. You've given them time to sort of come to their own conclusions in this situation. And there's a sense of that it's healed a lot of intimacy wounds within this person. fears of commitment. And there's a sense of like, yeah, you're the right person for me. This connection has healed me. You have activated the healer inside of me, and you've just been being yourself. It doesn't matter like what you've said or what you've done. Even when you've had like disagreements with one another, you've like gone off into your separate corners to kind of, sit in those triggered energies. There's a sense of almost like they've had so many breakthroughs based on like the buttons that have been pushed by you in this situation. Maybe where, you've set some very firm boundaries, like, you can't come around here with this attitude. I deserve more than this. I need clarity, whatever you've kind of held this person to task in terms of like not showing up in a stagnant energy, but evolving and growing within the connection. It's helped to kind of like bring a better version of them to the surface. They've released a lot of old wounds through the experience of being taught what love really should be with you and like through this connection. And there's a sense that like anything they'd been holding on to in terms of like feeling unworthy, feeling very flawed as a person, or like they didn't have high expectations for connections, they might have been kind of pessimistic or jaded towards love. You help to erase a lot of those deeply embedded wounds within this person, or have helped them to kind of look beyond that. Like, yeah, other people kind of created that narrative for them, but this is a different circumstance. They're very brave when it comes to the idea of taking steps forward with you beyond, whatever your understanding is with one another up to this point. They also say, I'm a master of self-sabotage. So again, this is somebody that is trying not to get themselves like too wrapped up in their head. They're aware of certain fears that they have, fears of commitment, like pessimism towards love, or, kind of this, like a notion that was inside of them of sort of like anything good inevitably falls apart. Good things aren't meant to last. They might have had a lot of toxic connections in the past where they had confused toxicity for passion, and you've shown them something different, like a different face of love. And so this is almost somebody that's like navigating through a field of landmines within themselves, within their own kind of emotional energy. And they're like, I know how I can get. Things are good, and I become, worried that like the rug's going to be pulled out from under me. Things are good within situations, and I look for a reason to worry. Or this may be somebody that is like used to overlooking red flags within others, or themselves have been a walking red flag in previous connections. And so it's like they're trying to do something different in this situation with you by just kind of taking their time, sitting and kind of just saturating themselves in and enjoying kind of the peace of this moment, or the place that you're at with one another. It's like we have all the time in the world. There's no need to rush forward into this next level with one another, because they want to do it right, and they want to make sure that they don't like bite off more than they can chew, or that they move too quickly, because there may be something where even like the time that you've been dealing with one another, they may be looking at like other connections like, yeah, right around this time I start to get cold feet. Right around this time things inevitably sort of fall apart. And so they're kind of like learning from their past mistakes with other people and trying to do something different, like do it right in this circumstance. They also say, I miss the way you look at me. So this can indicate that they're thinking a lot about like the earlier phases of your connection, when it was fresh, when it was new, or before feelings had been expressed and there was just like raw chemistry between the two of you, flirtation, all that like sexual tension in the air. And there's a sense that that is an energy which really magnetized them towards you and motivated them to do something in order to not let the moment pass them by. And so this is somebody that's trying to think of like, I don't want to lose that, spiciness between the two of us. I don't want this connection to kind of just, we get comfortable with one another and then it gets bored, or I get restless, or, you start to wonder why you ever, bought the package that I was trying to sell as far as like what a connection with me would look like. There's a sense that they want to be comfortable with you, but they also want to keep things exciting. So they may be kind of thinking about like, okay, things are good now, but I don't want to be the only one that is kind of like breathing life into this situation. I want to remember the reasons that we got started with one another in the first place. I don't want to lose sight of that. Like there was a time with this person where it's like they saw you and they're like, I got to have you. You're going to be mine. I got to be with you. And that motivated them to kind of step outside of their comfort zone. And so they're trying to like keep sight of that as, you know, beyond this kind of like, okay, we can't move too quickly. I don't want to rush things. I'm, you know, kind of like scared of getting hurt, or they're still tiptoeing around like intimacy issues, you know, kind of like fears of commitment, things like that. But there's a sense of like, I can't tiptoe around this forever and expect that you're going to stay interested, expect that you're still going to be fulfilled. And so this is something where they want to kind of like do something to make you feel appreciated, to make you feel special, to not lose sight of kind of that raw animal magnetism between the two of you initially. We also have, I can't face you right now. The intensity between us scares me. Yeah, so this is somebody that is like, if you asked me to run away with you tomorrow, I would. I would do anything for you. I'd do anything for this connection. This person may have like a tendency to get kind of obsessive or even kind of possessive over romantic partners. That might have been an issue for them in like past situations, jealousy issues, you know, things where they could have been, you know, like the controlling partner, or they themselves were with a controlling partner, feeling very trapped within connections. And so this is somebody that is, they might have even been single for a very long time prior to crossing paths with you. And so there's a sense of like, as we evolve further into this situation, I want to make sure that it doesn't spiral into something toxic. I want to make sure that, you know, we have trust here, that, you know, we're both able to be independent, you know, vital people. And at the same point in time, we're building this unity between the two of us. And so if there's some kind of like time that you've had to take apart from one another, like maybe you've both just been busy, the year's wrapping up, holidays are here, you know, maybe you've had a lot of things to kind of like deal with, or, you know, people to see, projects to work on, you know, things to kind of wrap up to close up the cycle of 2025. There's a sense of almost like trying not to get jealous or you know, go to those worst case scenarios about like, okay, they haven't heard from you in a while, kind of like, well, what's going on? Are you talking to somebody else? Or, you know, themselves, it feels like they're trying to be kind of mindful as well about how friendly they are with other people, or, you know, kind of how, like their interactions with other people, so that there's no kind of like mystery or mistake, or, you know, something that kind of would give you the wrong impression energetically. Or, you know, if you guys go to like holiday parties together, or, you know, you like live in the same community, it's like, I don't want you to hear through the grapevine, you know, weird rumors. I don't want you to kind of like question my loyalty to you. I don't want to make you feel that you've got to like keep tabs on me, or that I need to keep tabs on you. I want us to be able to trust one another, even when, you know, we're kind of like dealing with other people, or not able to like deal with one another as frequently. So this is something that's like on their mind at this point. Taking things slowly with you, but also working on a way to kind of provide you with some kind of guarantees or reassurances that like, I'm invested in this with you. I'm loyal to you. I only have eyes for you. We also have, you're the only one who understands me at such a deep level. So this person may feel like you're the yin to their yang. You are somebody that is the perfect fit. You're the perfect match. You keep this person on their toes. You keep them challenged. You keep them regulated. You keep them balanced within themselves. You keep them feeling that like love doesn't have to hurt. Love doesn't have to be a toxic thing. I don't have to regret opening my heart or opening my life to another person. So again, you're helping this individual to kind of like shed wounds that they have had before. You're helping them to lean into a place of like, okay, I can trust where we are. Even if this is, you know, unusual territory for the two of you, you've kind of entered a new phase, or you've had, you know, certain struggles in like fighting for this connection, obstacles in the material world, obstacles internally. Maybe this has been like a weird year for you and your person. You've overcome a lot personally and together. And so there's a sense of like, they're sitting in this energy of like, we've had some kind of victory with one another, but I don't want to become complacent within that. I want to find some kind of way to nudge beyond the comfort zone and to provide you with reassurances that, like, even if I'm pulled in other directions at times, I don't want anyone else but you. We also have, I am drawn to your deep intelligence and wisdom. So they want to have a long and in-depth conversation with you as far as like what the future holds in this situation. And I'm getting this kind of visualization of somebody with like pie charts and graphs, and they're giving a lot of thought to this. This is somebody that's making like a plan for the next year, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan. This could be somebody that, you know, they want to like take you out to a nice dinner and discuss the future of the connection. This might almost be something where they're like, we need to talk. And you could be thinking to yourself like, oh my gosh, are they going to break up with me? Like, are they going to let me down? Like, what is the situation here? What do they have to say? And instead it's like the best conversation that you could hope for. It's everything that you could imagine. They're finally like ready to take things to the next level. They're thinking about this in terms of long-term potential. We also have, I am working hard on myself. I want you to be proud of me. Yeah, so they are definitely looking towards the new year as like a fresh start for the two of you. This person has been working on their attachment issues, some emotional issues. They may have been listening to like motivational speakers, podcasts, reading self-help books, coming to understand kind of their role in their own suffering in general and trying to like hold that in a space of compassion or understanding so that it doesn't sabotage what you can create with one another. This can also be somebody that is looking back on like previous connections that they were in that had a lot of potential and things fell through. Instead of just pointing the finger and being like, yeah, my ex was crazy, that was a toxic situation, you know, kind of like pushing all that blame onto another person. This is somebody who is at this point in time, and it feels like they've been working on this for a little while. It's like, okay, yeah, there may have been some real negative things that happened, but it takes two to tango. What did I bring to the table in that situation? What could I have done better? What did I do to contribute to that or instigate that, or, you know, stick around in a situation that was volatile longer than it should have been? And it feels like all of that is for the purposes of their own personal growth and evolution, but also because they see possibility with you to do things differently, to do things right, to kind of like, it's time to learn from the mistakes of the past in order to create a better future for themselves and also in terms of for the two of you. They also say, I love everything about you. Yeah, so this is more that energy of like the yin to the yang. There may be things that are very different about the two of you that at face value be like, how are those two people compatible? Like, people may just assume, oh, they probably don't get along at all. They probably fight like cats and dogs. And it's like, no, you're best friends. Even if you know, don't see eye to eye on everything, even if you have like different political views, different religious views, different kind of goals in life, you do totally different things. It's bringing to mind somebody that may be kind of like, you know, free-spirited, almost like airy-fairy, like new age or very spiritual. And then somebody that is like, maybe works a corporate job. They're very logical. They're very like suit and tie, button up kind of person. And to look at the two of you at like on the surface, it would be almost like the odd couple, but they love that. They love that you're the wild card in their life. You bring out the best in this person, and you help them to kind of like not take themselves so seriously. We also have, I'm sorry I ghosted you and stopped communicating. It was never my intention to hurt you. Yeah, so this is, again, I'm hearing slow down. So this is something where this person has like put the brakes on within themselves because they've reached a place within of like, okay, I'm feeling a lot for you. Maybe feelings have developed very quickly, and there's a sense that they need to almost just like catch their breath, assure themselves that it is safe to trust in this connection. It is truly happening. You know, this is like the love that they've been wanting. This is the connection that they've been hoping for. You're that perfect match. You are their mate. You are their counterpart. You are their soulmate. And that therefore requires, in order to evolve with you in this situation, they got to offload a lot of wounding. They got to shift the way those wounds from the past, or like a jadedness towards love, the place that is occupied within that has made them risk averse, like hesitant to take risks on people, or seeking out only like surface level pleasures, or somebody that for a while could have been like, I'm not looking for a relationship, I just want to stay single, I don't believe in love, I'm just gonna kind of do my thing. Somebody that was in like a Casanova energy, like a Knight of Wands energy, they have evolved now into like King of Wands. It's like, I know what I want, I see what I want, it is you, it is a situation. And this is somebody that is working to kind of reinforce a King of Pentacles energy within, where they are confident, where they are trusting in themselves, where they're honoring this need within them. And hopefully you're able to honor that as well, of like, I need to just sit in the moment with this situation. Because when the doors open, it feels like the new year is really big and really significant for the two of you in this situation. It's like they want to take things to a whole other level. They want to do more in this situation. They want to trust more in this situation. They want to open up more in this situation. And so it's like, if you could just be patient with me while I subdue some of these internal demons. It's almost somebody that's like, please hold, I'll be right back. Like on a customer service line, for example, and they're like, please hold, and then you're listening to, like the elevator music. It's kind of like that. Like, this is not somebody that is like put you on the back burner because they're exploring other options. This is somebody that's like, okay, this is real, this is really happening, this is really my person. Now, what do I do in order to not mess it all up, in order to not sabotage this situation, in order to kind of like take the lead or step forward in this next season of our experience in a way that leads to success with one another. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got T, L, U, X, R, D, O, Q, P, I, B, H, W, Z, H, and F. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you'd like a personal reading, there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the blue Opal. So let's see, what does your person want you to know right now from their higher self? So we have, I secretly dream of a future together. So this person is manifesting something big in this situation with you. They may have been working on something quietly behind the scenes that involves a change of plans for the better. Something that could involve rearranging certain things in their life. Like if this is a long distance connection, this may be somebody that has been applying for jobs or looking for places to live that would bring them closer to you. And there's a sense of like, I don't want to speak too soon on anything. I don't want to, kind of mess up the moment, or kind of all the intentions that I've been setting or the work that I've been doing behind the scenes in order to create opportunities for myself that would bridge a gap of distance between the two of you and would make it easier to facilitate a connection, like evolving to the next level, or somebody that's like, I don't want to be away from you anymore. I don't want things to stand between the two of us. I want to create something more in this situation. That it feels like when the moment's right, they've got some big news to share with you, and you have inspired this person to take risks as far as, maybe this is someone who's even switching professions altogether. This can be somebody that's even been like going to night school, getting some kind of like degree or certification that would open up other opportunities for them to be able to have like more success in life, not just for themselves, but there's a sense of like, I want to provide you with a life or a certain lifestyle, or I want to, bring something to the table in the situation between the two of us that could help to kind of alleviate a lot of our worries and burdens. Something that would let you know, like, I want to, be there for you as like a protector, as a provider, as someone that you can rely upon. So maybe this is even somebody that like a change in jobs or a promotion or something where they may recognize that they're, unhappy with where they're living, or if this a long distance connection, they miss you. They don't like being far away. They don't like limiting your interactions face to face, or maybe this is something where you just have like a virtual connection. You don't really have the opportunity at this point, or you've not had many opportunities to get together in person. And there's a sense of like, I want to fix that. I want to change that. I want to do something where I'm the one willing to make the sacrifices in order to, increase the probability that we can build something real and something lasting between the two of us in the flesh. They also say, I miss your warmth. Yeah, so this is somebody that like, in between your interactions with one another, especially if this is like a long distance connection, there's a sense of like, I don't want to wake up in this bed all by myself. I don't want to, be kind of like going through the day-to-day motions of my reality and you're not here. I don't want to come home to an empty house. I don't want us to have our like separate lives away from one another. And, we've got a shared space where we've created something very beautiful, or we're having these wonderful experiences with one another, but I want to do what I can on my side of the equation in order to create more of that closeness, or, to let you kind of know that by furthering something in terms of like goals and dreams, or again, like working to kind of like move closer to you. This may even be somebody that's like, saving up money, working to kind of like make a plan of action to have you come visit them, or to have them come visit you, so that you can get together face to face and see all that chemistry and compatibility that we seem to have from behind computer screens or phone screens. Does that translate in the real world, so that you're not just kind of stringing one another along in this kind of virtual chemistry with one another, but it's like, I want to breathe your breath. I want to look into your eyes in person. I want to be able to hold your hand. I want to be able to have more than just a couple hours where we're dealing with one another remotely. I want to be able to spend a whole afternoon with you, a whole day with you, a whole weekend with you. I want to spend my life with you. They also say, you were never afraid of my darkness. So it feels like this person definitely puts you up on some kind of pedestal. They feel like you're out of their league, or if you knew more about the reality of them, like up close and personal, that you might be hesitant about, kind of like who they are, or if that really fits in with your life or your reality. It may be something where, they've been kind of like stuck in a job that they have to keep in order to, make ends meet, or they've made certain choices in their life that has like kept them in a particular location, or there's a lot of just clutter between the two of you, emotional clutter, or this could, especially if this is somebody that is like divorced, or they have kids from a previous relationship, that might have been something that was kind of like an obstacle in this situation. Either the previous partner maybe is somebody that was very difficult, kind of like created a lot of chaos for this person, or certain things that might have like kept them in a place of like, hey, I've got these child support obligations, I gotta like stick around this place for my kids, and yet I met you and you're somewhere else, and I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't know how to show up best for everybody. And so there's a sense that you've been very patient with this person while they've seen something through to completion, while they've kind of like, their situation has been their situation, and you've been very understanding about that. And so there's a sense here of almost like, they don't want to kind of just leave this as something that is at arm's length. This is somebody that's trying to find a workaround, trying to find some kind of way to create like a different dynamic between the two of you, where you don't feel so left in the dark. You don't feel so left out in the cold. You don't feel like, okay, this is great, that we have these exchanges, and, what about kind of like my needs in the material world? They don't want to be somebody that like someone else comes along in your direct reality and then they're out of luck as far as this is concerned. They may sort of sense that it's become very repetitive, or any kind of obstacles between the two of you, that there's been a big strain upon this, or kind of the ways in which you're able to sort of trust in the future potential, it up to this point hasn't looked good. It's been like, okay, this is great for now, but what are we really doing here? Where is this really leading to? You may have had that kind of difficult conversation with them recently, or that's always been sort of an overtone. There's always been this kind of barrier between the two of you. And so there's a sense here that they want to kind of work to overcome that. They want to surprise you in some sort of way with like, hey, if you're open and willing, this is a plan that I've come up with. These are steps that I've taken. These are changes that I have made in my life in order to get myself in a better situation, in order to create more flexibility for myself financially, or, move out of whatever the stressful situation is. It's maybe somebody that's even kind of doing things to sort of change up like child custody, if they're sharing that with another person, something that will take a lot of the stress off their plate. This may even be somebody that's getting ready to have you meet their kids. That can be this kind of aspect of the surprise, sort of like, we built a lot of trust with one another. It's been a very beautiful experience, and I would like to invite you more into my world. It's a big step for them, but it's a sense of like, I don't just see you as a temporary person or somebody to like keep at a distance. I don't just want you as, somebody on the side or like a sneaky link. Like, I want to create something more here. I want to create more stability, more certainty. I want us to work to like merge our lives together as one. They also say your face haunts me day and night. Yeah, so this is somebody that like, they can't wait to talk to you. They can't wait to see you. You've become very important to this person. You provide this person, it feels like, a lot of joy in what might be kind of a rough situation that they're in right now. If this is somebody that may be, in the midst of like, they're fresh out of some kind of breakup, or, maybe they're just getting back into relationships again after like a divorce, or, something long-term that fell through. It's like you've given this person a lot of confidence to sort of like trust in this situation, to kind of get to know one another, maybe in a very unorthodox way for them. They might not have done like online dating, or especially if you're at like, if it's a long distance connection and you met virtually somehow, you met on like a website, or something like that. It's a sense of like, they've never done this before, or it's only just been kind of like casual situations, and now there's been something more that has developed, and it's a sense of like, I don't just want you to be that stranger that I'm typing messages to, or that person, where we do our little face conversation over the phone, and then we go back to our real life, but we don't even like know what that feels like, what the mood is, what the energy is, what the ambiance is. There's a sense that they want to bring you more into their life. They want to do more in order to create something more real out of this situation. They also say, love isn't always on time. Please be patient with me. Yeah, so again, this is somebody that's trying to like do some things behind the scene. They're pulling the strings behind the scene. There's a lot of moving parts, and whatever their next action is towards you, or something that would like open the doors of possibility in this situation, to get to know one another better, to bridge the gap between the two of you, especially if this is somebody that's planning like a big move, like a cross-country move, or they're like moving to another country, they're putting in applications, they're doing interviews, they're looking for places to live, something that would bring them nearer to you where travel wouldn't be an issue. Maybe instead of, thousands of miles apart, you'd be hundreds of miles apart, or, they'd be in the same city that you are, in the same state as you are, in the same country, something that would like make it easier to like, okay, let's have these face-to-face interactions. Let's start to explore this kind of like next layer between the two of us. But it feels like something that if they're not able to kind of like set those plans in motion in like the right way, they don't want to get your hopes up in order to let you down. But it's definitely something, if it feels like they've been a little bit secretive, or, it's the kind of person that might be like, oh, I can't talk right now, I've got this other call, or I've got a meeting, that could definitely have something to do with like what they've been working on. I'm also hearing transfer, so they may be trying to like if they work for like a big employer, they may be looking to transfer, transfer to another division, transfer to another branch, or something that would kind of like parlay their skills into a different professional arena that would give them a lot more financial freedom. It might also open things up geographically for them, the ability to travel, or it would bring them in closer proximity to you, because there's a sense of like, I don't want to like miss out on something. You're a unique person. You're a special person. You are a meaningful person. Like, I've got deep feelings for you. It feels like this is somebody who's almost like hesitant to say they're in love with you, though, because it's like, we need some face-to-face time together. We need to like spend time, like a couple of days in a row with one another. We need to have those experiences to know for sure, like, does this chemistry, this bond, this kind of like magnetism between the two of us, the way that we're fascinated, that we get along, we got so much to talk about, it feels so good to like connect with you. Does that translate in the real world? Can we sit in the comfortable silence? Is this something where, we spend a week together and you're not tired of me and I'm not tired of you? Is this the kind of thing where day in and day out, this is a reality that you want and that I want as well? We also have, I'm terrified of you. So this is somebody that is terrified to lose you. And they also feel like if you were to get tired of them, if you were to, dump them, abandon them, break up with them, it's like you would shatter me. They think so highly of you. You've sparked feelings within this person that they haven't felt in a very long time. There's a deep curiosity about where this connection could lead, what the future could hold within this situation. The potential that the two of you could step into as people. Like, they feel that you're a very positive influence upon them. You've really helped them out of, maybe a tough situation where their self-esteem was, kind of tarnished or trashed, and they weren't really feeling good about themselves, weren't really optimistic about the future, were kind of just like, okay, I'm lonely, I'm bored, let me find someone to talk to, and along you came. Or there might have been other people that they were like talking to, chatting with, things like that. And there's a sense like, but there's something different about the situation with you, and I want to explore that more. I want to like learn more. I want to do more. I want to have more with you. But then they're also, again, like it feels also why they don't necessarily want to tell you what they're kind of working on behind the scenes until it's like a done deal, because there's also the sense of sort of like, I want to make sure that I create some stability for myself before I'm making this kind of like big move or this big sort of like gesture towards you. Because if it turns out that that compatibility does not translate beyond the virtual world or the virtual interactions into like, face-to-face, flesh-to-flesh, kind of like, real-time, real-world experiences with one another, then there's a sense of sort of like, if you were to withdraw your love or take that away, or your affections, your attentions, it would collapse me. And I need to make sure that I've got some kind of solid foundation to lean upon in case the worst happens in this situation. But they're not like thinking of the worst. It's almost like they're trying to think of sort of like, okay, think of it from all angles, not just move in an emotional sense, but really kind of do something very practical that wouldn't also set alarm bells off for you. It's like, wow, okay, this person just relocated across the country to be with me, or they kind of like got this job or did this thing that then like they got all this time to like get together, or they want to come visit, they want me to come visit them. Like, they don't want to do it in such a way that like makes you afraid or makes you feel pressured, but something that's just kind of like, yeah, I've taken steps to better my life. I've taken steps to kind of evolve in some sort of way, beyond a stagnant situation, beyond the limits that I've faced, beyond kind of like whatever phase of their life they've been living in. It's almost like you've catalyzed change within this person. They become a different person through your interactions and through the experiences they've had with you up to now. And so there's a sense of like it's time for them to kind of move forward in their life in other ways, and that includes something more with you, something more tangible with you. They also say, you've helped me face my fears and I am building my courage to commit to you. Yeah, so this is somebody that's trying to build more financial stability, build something as far as their career is concerned that would allow them to kind of have more time with you, have more direct time with you, be able to kind of like offer you something that is not just like, hey, here's this person that just turns up at my doorstep, sort of like, yeah, love led me here, now what? This is somebody that wants to like follow their heart, but they also want to make sure that you see that they're coming in with some kind of stability. They're offering you something that is like, yeah, I've taken a step in a new direction that brings me closer to you, but I've done this for myself, so that you see that this is a person with a can-do attitude. This is a person that love feels like a risk for them. And so it's like they almost need certain guarantees before they're able to open their heart or trust fully in things. And so rather than kind of like having you be the one to like, give up certain things in your life or make certain sacrifices in order to provide them with reassurances, this is somebody that's like taking a proactive step to turn over a new leaf or embark on like a new adventure for themselves that brings with it stability and certainty, something that might even involve like an up-leveling professionally speaking. Something where they could be looking to move to an area where their money goes farther. They're able to kind of accomplish certain goals and dreams that they have for themselves in a long-term sense in a more practical way or more immediately. But it's not just like, okay, I bettered my life, thanks, let's just continue to kind of keep this distance, or I'll just keep you as like somebody that I talk to online or whatever that looks like. But it's a sense of almost like, I'm doing something more to kind of create stability for myself, and I want to invite you in to that level of comfort that I'm trying to cultivate. We also have, I'm in a flirtatious mood. I want to play and have fun. Yeah, so this person wants to like go out on dates with you. They want to have Sunday brunch. They want to go, to concerts. They want to go out in nature. They want to go on adventures. They want to see you first thing in the morning when your hair's all messy and you don't look cute. They want to see you at night when you indulge yourself up and you're ready for a night on the town. They want all of it. They want more experiences with you than has been the case up to this point in time. We also have, you give me butterflies every time I feel your body close to mine. So that is what they're trying to manifest. Physical closeness with one another. That energy of the butterflies also speaks to metamorphosis, transformation. This is somebody that is in a cocoon right now. There are things that are going on behind the scenes that you are not aware of that would open up so many more possibilities for this person. Maybe even just things that involve an up level in their career, where they're able to kind of show you a certain lifestyle that they've not been able to provide so far. Have certain experiences with you that would bring you closer. Maybe this is somebody that has like worked real hard for their money. They work long hours. They may work a very strenuous job. This could be somebody that's working, towards sort of the idea of work smarter, not harder, creating more financial freedom for themselves so that they actually have the energy to kind of go out and have fun. They actually have the time or, the ability to kind of experience a different level of life than has been the case up to this point. all of that, it's for themselves, but it's also motivated by the sense of like, I want to build something more with you. I want to provide something more to you than I've been able to up to this point, or even than other people that you've dated or you've had romance with were able to provide or bring to the table or match. If you're somebody that is like, you're very independent, you take care of yourself, this person sees you don't need a rescuer, you know, you don't need that knight in shining armor, but there's a sense of like, you might not need that, but I want to come in as a king, as someone who's able to kind of match what you bring to the table. This is almost given like power couple vibes. So something where it's like they feel very empowered in their experiences with you. And it's like, I want more of that. I want to build more of that in the real world. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got C, L, Y, A, T, V, S, M, L, I, M, U, R, O, K, and D. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you'd like a personal reading, there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well.